He came to suffer on our behalf. He came to give himself a ransom for many. And so during Christmas, we celebrate that ransom, that salvation that he offers. And we've had people in both the first services who placed their faith in Jesus Christ. They made Jesus not just the King of Christmas, but the King of their hearts, the King of their lives. They received Jesus as their Savior. But for those who have received him, I think it's really important for us to recognize, as Tim Keller said in his book, The King's Cross, if Jesus is truly king, then everything in your life must revolve around him. He is not merely an add-on. He is the center. Spurgeon said this in The Treasury of David, and this is our action item. He said, "Oh, that Christ would be the one and only king. Let him reign over our hearts without rival." And so Jesus doesn't want just to be a part of our life. He wants to be the king of our hearts. And when he reigns there, there's joy and there's peace that overflow. And I want to tell you that he wants to be the king of your heart. He wants to be the king of your schedule. He wants to be the king of your life, which means he's not just at the top of your list, he's at the center of everything you do and the reason you do it. And so there are three ways to keep Jesus at the center of your heart and your life this Christmas. I want to give you these from this passage. I want you to see the first one, and that is that we are to follow Jesus in joyful obedience. Now, the moment of salvation is the moment where you decide, I'm going to follow Jesus. I'm going to be a follower of his. Jesus, that was the one thing he said to those who were looking to follow him. He said, follow me. That was the command. I want you to come after me. I want you to have a relationship with me. And when we follow Jesus, as followers, we can either live our lives based on our own impulses, based on our own desires, or we can live our lives in joyful obedience. The wise men, they followed the star. They followed the scriptures, as we'll see. And they did it joyfully, while Herod was not joyful at all. In verse number 2, they asked the simple question, where is he that is born King of the Jews? Not knowing that this phrase, the King of the Jews, was a phrase that Herod commonly used for himself. And so here they are, asking for the King of the Jews, and he's probably looking at him like, you're staring at him, right? I'm the King of the Jews. And so in a moment of jealousy and rage, he gets upset, which we'll see, but they are just looking at a star. Look at verse 2. We have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him. Now, when they said the King of the Jews, that was a word for sovereignty, for a ruler over Judea. That was what they were talking about. And they knew that in the Old Testament it said that there would be a ruler that would come and sit on David's throne. We talked about that last week. But when they said we want to worship him, this is a word for bowing in reverence. This is a word for humility, for adoration, for respect, for devotion.